We'll call this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, July 28th, and it is 9 a.m. We will have invocation led by Pastor Alan Baggett, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Alexander. Please stand if you're able to do so, and please silence your phones.
Unless you want to pray. Amen. There you go. Hey, let us pray. Father God, we are so grateful, Lord, for this day. This is the day that you have created, and we thank you, Lord, for it. We are grateful, Lord, for those who have chosen to serve their community, and for those, Lord, who have come to be a part of this meeting today. Those who are in positions of authority, Lord, we ask that you would give them direction as they seek your will in each decision that is made. We pray, God, that each of our commissioners will allow your Spirit to guide them as to what is best for our community. Your word, Lord, tells us that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We pray, Lord, that you will unite us in your love, cover us in your grace and in your mercy. We need your help, Lord, today. We pray your blessings and favor upon this meeting as we face the decisions of today, tomorrow, and the days to come. It's in your powerful name, Jesus, that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Moving into the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes of regular meeting June 23rd, 2026, as stated in our packet.
Second.
Second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Presentations, we will ask Commissioner Harvey to give us the presentation for the Community Legal Services Proclamation. Y'all are welcome to come on up with him.
I just need the microphone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir. Come stand with me.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey.
You're welcome. Madam Chair, fellow commissioners, audience, Putnam County Proclamation number 2026-053, honoring the 60th anniversary of Community Legal Services. Whereas many Americans are one civil legal problem away from falling into poverty or further into poverty. Annually, three of four low-income American households experience at least one civil legal problem. And yet 92% of these households do not get any or enough legal help for their civil legal problems. And whereas the Community Legal Services has served the residents of Brevard, Citrus, Flagler, Hernando, Lake, Marion, Osceola, Orange, Putnam, Seminole, Sumter, and Volusia counties for 6 decades since its founding in 1966 through the provision of no-cost legal services for those who could not otherwise gain access to counsel. And whereas the community served by the Community Legal Services include low-income Floridians and their families, seniors, veterans, survivors of domestic violence, children with disabilities, disaster survivors, and other at-risk individuals facing critical hardships such as potential loss of a home, fraudulent contracts, financial instability, denial of benefits, barriers to securing housing, challenges in disaster recovery, and the need to obtain legal protections. And whereas through the dedicated staff and the hundreds of pro bono attorneys who have volunteered their time over the decades, Community Legal Services has served our clients with more than 300,000 civil legal cases, and committed more than 1 million hours of direct legal assistance for Floridians over the past 6 decades, embodying its commitment to legal access for all, thus strengthening communities and economic stability across its service area. Now, therefore, the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners do hereby recognize and commend Community Legal Services for its 60 years of service and dedication to the mission to provide no-cost legal services to the most vulnerable in Central Florida and help them protect their families' health and livelihood. Madam Chair, I move this approval.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Thank you.
Thank you. Here, there's the microphone.
Good morning, Dr. Miller.
Sure. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for recognizing Community Legal Services and for your continued commitment to ensuring access to justice for everyone in our community. I'm Melissa Miller, a private attorney and endowment committee member with Community Legal Services. For 60 years, one principle has guided our work. Justice should never depend on one's ability to pay. Every day, Community Legal Services helps individuals and families facing life's most difficult legal challenges, ensuring that access to justice is available to everyone, not just to those who can afford it. Thank you for your recognition and partnership. Let's continue to stand together and actively ensure that justice remains within reach for every member of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Yep. You guys want to come up for a picture?
Yeah. Julianne.
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. And again. One more.
All right, next up we have Heart of Putnam. I believe they've pulled this agenda item. Okay. Next up we have Rick Paul, Senior Business Consultant for SBDC.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, staff, and everybody else in attendance. I hope you're having a good day today. Rick Paul, the Small Business Development Center, 320 St. John's Avenue. First, I'd like to start off with a little bit of information. This was written by Kirsten Altus from Fox Business. The title to the story is Florida Stock Rising, How It Became the World's 14th Largest Economy. And they have some quotes in here by Florida Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Mark Wilson. And the quote is, "The state's economy reached $1.8 trillion after growing 6.3% over the past year, surpassing Australia and Mexico." While tourism, agriculture, construction remain foundational industries, Chamber data shows Florida ranked #1 nationally for new business starts in manufacturing growth. So very impressive. The state of Florida has been #1 for, I think, 4 or 5 years at a minimum for new business starts. As far as presentations and workshops and so forth, we've had about 6 of them so far this year. In March 3rd, I had a lenders roundtable. That's where the Small Business Administration comes down and talks with local bankers about, trying to increase the SBA lending activity for the county down here. Then on, looks like May 12th, I had a startup workshop, and then on June 9th, a marketing workshop, and then followed very closely by this one, which was very well attended. So this is Florida's Rural Business Resource Tour. It was put on by the SBDC, by Florida Commerce, and by our local Chamber of Commerce. I was told that's the Putnam County turnout was the best that they had throughout the entire state. So congratulations on that. Then, like the next day, we had one called Money Moves. This is where we bring lenders and clients together to let them network to see about getting loans and requirements and so forth. That one was held up at the University of North Florida. In front of you, you should have the quarterly impact report. Typically, these things come out in a date range. On this one is October 25th through June of this year. And then it goes through and says how many, businesses were consulted, how many business starts, and all that sort of stuff. But I'd like to point your attention to the $1.81 million that has been raised in Putnam County for this time frame. And since you put in about $25,000, that represents a 7,240% return on your investment. So I think the SBDC is a good steward of your funds. In front of you also, as promised, I think last time, is a Florida Trend magazine. While it's not a feature article, they put our state small business person of the year champion on page 31 in here. So if you turn to page 31, you'll see Joe Fournier and his son, actually Doug Fournier and his son Joe, smiling back on you on page 31. They are the state SBA Small Business People of the Year. So congratulations to Doug, Joe, and Doug's daughter, Mary. It's a family business, started from scratch here in Putnam County. They currently have 10 employees, all live and reside and work in Putnam County, and their goal is 50 employees in about 2 or 3 more years. With that, I think we have a video. Oh, I guess the video is coming up. The neat thing about this video, it's a statewide video, and it'll be accessible to people all across the country and the world.
Well, thank you. While she's doing that, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. We obviously know that small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and when you grow up in a small town like this, those are the businesses that support the soccer teams and the kids' baseball teams and football teams and everything else. So we appreciate all the small businesses in Putnam County. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We might need to go back.
All right, just bear with me for a
No
minute.
problem.
It helps if it has, the voice in it. Okay.
Supposed to be down here?
Yeah, there's.
If you want.
Well, hopefully the video will show, but will be a statewide video that will be shown at all the SBDCs. It'll be available to download. Be nice if you stuck it on your website. I mean, it's a Putnam County
Sure.
business that won the Small Business Administration Small Business Person of the Year award. So it's actually a really cool video, and if we can't get the sound working, then I'll just send a link to you or something a little bit later on. Let's see. I think they're still working on it a little.
Technology, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
We might just have to move on if we can't get the volume to work.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. Yeah. If you'll just send that to us, we'll make sure and take a look at it.
Madam Chair,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I would like to bring something up before we go to our next topic. I know it's out of order, but if you don't mind allowing me just a few minutes to talk about something.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For months now, we've been kicking around data centers, and we've heard it on Facebook. We've been getting emails. We charged our administration with letting us know when they get comments about data centers. Our attorney has contacted us in an email on July 21st and sent us a draft resolution of a moratorium on mega data centers. And I'm not for mega data centers whatsoever, and I think we've all kind of expressed our views on that. But the email draft said that the earliest that we could do this meeting would be on August 25th. So I would ask that if you allow me to say that, maybe if we could put this on the agenda while we still have a room full of people for the August 25th, 2026, 9 a.m. moratorium on mega data centers.
All right. We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
We have a second. All right. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized for discussion.
I agree with Mr. Harvey's comments. I just wanted to know, now, would that be the initial reading of the final resolution?
That'd be the first reading. Thank you, Madam Chair. That'd be the first reading of that.
And then
we'll have, I'm sure we'll have 2 readings of it. But that'll be our first, based on the advertising requirements, as Mr. Commando said, that would be our first opportunity to hear a moratorium.
Yep. So we can, that's the soonest that we can get it done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. Now, I just want to make sure we were moving in expeditiously.
Thank you for your
Are
comment.
there any comments from administration?
The only comment I would make, Madam Chair, is, as we all know, Mr. Commando is not available today. I'll reach out to Mr. Commando, and I appreciate Commissioner Harvey bringing this up because there is a lot of discussion going on right now in our community regarding data centers, and we do need to, if we're going to move on this, we need to do it as expeditiously as possible. As soon as I have an opportunity to reach Mr. Commando, I will see if the second meeting in August is indeed the first available. If not, we'll bring it back and we'll advertise it and we'll get it on there for the first one if we can, for all 5 of you to be able to discuss it in your first reading. But I haven't had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Commando since the moratorium draft came out. So if that's what he believes is the first meeting to be the second one, then that's what we'll do. So, but we'll move on it as expeditiously as we can.
Thank you. Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
In conjunction with that moratorium, I think it would be wise for us to, that's going to gain us some time to study the process. I think we've got a large part of the public that might like to be involved in that. I would suggest that we form somewhat of a small task force to research the whole subject, to gather as much information as we can. And I'd like to see us, have each commissioner put 2 people on this, have a 10-person panel, and move forward with that direction so that we can get a better overall temperature of the community and have them involved in the process.
Well, I appreciate that, but I think that the public will show up and the public will weigh in, and we'll have multiple public meetings. And the point of the moratorium is to give us time to see and hear from the public, and I don't want to limit it to, I know what your point is, but I think we're getting the cart a little bit before the horse. I feel like we need to have our first reading, see how many people show up, see the interest in the community. I get calls every day.
Sure.
We all do. Commissioner Palatka was talking to a group of people here just a little while ago who thought it was on our agenda, and it's not. So, and I'm not sure I want the task force. That's just me talking. I'm only one commissioner. I feel like that there's going to be so much public input, and it gives us a year to really vet it. So, that's just my thoughts. Commissioner Harvey, you recognize?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. So let's get through the first reading,
Surely.
and then let's talk about that some more.
If it feels right, I'll bring it up in the future.
Yes, sir. I agree with
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you. Commissioner Pelletier, you're recognized.
We've said this, we've said this time and time and time and time, and here goes one more time. Putnam County has not been contacted by anyone that wants to put a data center here at this time. Nobody at this dais knows anything about a data center anywhere in Putnam County. Nowhere. I get tired of hearing the corner drugstore chat of, my buddy told me this and they saw that. They can buy property and do all they want, but they can't do anything till they come before this board. So it's just chatter. It's just chatter. That's all it is. Just this. That's a gum bumping. That's all it is. So put your mind to rest. At this time, there is nothing happening in Putnam County that relates to an AI data center. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Suggs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to echo that, as you know, at the last meeting, I was challenged with making sure with the new policy that we forwarded any information and all information that came in about data centers. Commissioner Pelletier is absolutely correct. I've received no communique about anything wanting to relocate or be located here in Putnam County as of today. And again, just want to make sure we appreciate Commissioner Harvey's lead on emailing the attorney to get that draft moratorium out to us as quickly as we did. So we'll continue to move on that, and as soon as we can get that put together for you five, we'll certainly get it on the agenda in front of you.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just so the general public understands, the whole purpose of the policy change at the last meeting was to keep the public informed by policy of any contact received, because we knew it was going to take multiple weeks to formulate a moratorium and get it advertised and put in place. So we wanted the public to be assured that there was nothing nefarious happening in the background, nor was there any closed-door meetings going on. Not a single commissioner here has been contacted about a data center since that time. So everything that we do is transparent. We take great pride in that. So I wanted just to be very clear.
So I'm going to bring something up. So yes, we gave direction. I don't know that we said there was a policy change. I've not seen a draft policy come in front of this board giving that direction. We certainly gave direction, and I believe Administrator Suggs is following that direction. Is there a link or something that's available for the public that, or how? I know that direction that was given, but what is there that public can see is going on?
I'll need to verify that, but I believe that IT has put a link on our website, and I'm getting an affirmative head shake from Mr. Ritchie in the back of the room. So all the emails and communicated I've been forwarding. I also copy IT, Mr. James Ritchie, and he's putting those up on our website.
Okay, so that should help with any questions as well. So that is out on our website. With that, we will, we had a motion a second. I didn't call for the vote.
You did.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. All right, so we will, the next available opportunity, which we believe at this time is August 25th, have the first reading of a moratorium for a data center.
Madam Chair, let me say thank you. I know this is out of order, and
Yep.
I appreciate the opportunity, but it is something that needs to come before the board. And, you know, we work very well together, and the momentum is going on here in Putnam County, and I appreciate the interruption. And I know how hard that is when you have a meeting, have an agenda, and then something intercepts, but I didn't mean to do that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellow board members.
Thank you. Next, we're going into the solid waste assessment and user fees. If there's any mayors in the audience, please come forward. This is a public hearing on solid waste and assessments and user fees. Who's doing the presentation? Recognize Mayor Haynes from Town of Interlaken and Mayor Correa from City of Palatka. Thank you both for being here. We did hear from Mayor Myers. She is actually out of the state right now and could not attend.
Are you ready, Chair?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
thank you. This is your solid waste assessment and user fee public hearing, where we set the assessment fees and explain what our tipping rates are going to be. So by county ordinance, the board is required to establish by resolution the solid waste special assessments and user fees prior to the beginning of each fiscal year. So as you all are aware, we did have a cost escalation on the side of Waste Pro. However, we were able to work on our side and take advantage of some operational efficiencies that allowed us to allow the fees to remain constant at what they were last year. So what staff is proposing is the exact same fee that was last year for the upcoming year to take care of our solid waste disposal.
Well, I can say I appreciate that. I didn't like them going up last year, but I know we had to do what we had to do, but I'm very appreciative that we are not going up on those. Mayors, do you guys have any comments or questions?
I do not.
All right, is there any other questions for the presenter? All right, with that, we'll take public comment. Is there any public comment on the solid waste assessments? Mr. Hoteland, you're recognized. Smile. It's Tuesday.
Got to go have my eyes dilated, so.
Aw.
Tim Hoteling, 105 Riverside Way, San Mateo. Everything Jay does is hoorah, hoorah. The gasification, I think you guys need to have a special report of what he's got going out there. Hoorah, hoorah. On the other hand, the state has standards for recycling. Supposedly the state thinks it's a really good idea. I think it's an extremely good idea, and I think it's worth a little bit of effort to develop improved centers where citizens that actually want to participate and save the planet can save the planet easily. Weatherproof areas where you can put in cardboard and jars and all of that, because our baby's got to live here.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Would you be willing to pay extra on your solid waste fee every year?
Absolutely, depending on what I get in return for the money.
Okay.
The money that I pay to Waste Pro to handle my yard waste and everything is the best tax dollars that I pay at anywhere for anything. My opinion. I always see them there. They got a smile. They pick up the good stuff. Unfortunately, they took the bin away that I kept separating my paper out on.
Okay.
I think
it just was a fair question, because I think that's the challenge that we face. I know it's the challenge we face. The challenge we face is the cost incurred with recycling, and so.
And again, that's why I suggest, and Jay knows because he worked there, Lexington County, South Carolina has the concept of centers that just have the bins. People come in and make their own separation. Sometimes they have some people there to, I forget what it was. It was actually effectively volunteer labor to minimize it. But all of that ended up highly productive, and until the China problem happened, it was a cost positive.
Well, I do know that the gasification plant, when we're ready, we will certainly have that announcement when it's ready, but it's very close to being in a test phase.
And that's very exciting.
And that'll be 99.9% recycled. So
gonna put Putnam County on the
yes,
world
sir.
map.
Yes, sir. It will. All right. With that, is there any other public comment? All right, coming back to the board.
Madam Chair, I move approval of resolution number 2026-005, setting the rates for establishing the solid waste assessment and user fees.
2026-054.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, next we have Planning and Development Public Hearing for Ordinance 2026-012. Thank you, mayors, for attending today. Also, while we're doing that, I want to recognize Bill White from St. Johns River Water Management. Thank you for being here. And City Commissioner Annie Davis, thank you for being here.
For the record, Michael Graves, Planning and Development Services. This is case REZ 26-000006. Donna Rose and Stephanie Wimmer are requesting a zoning map amendment from industrial light to residential 1A on .34 acres located at 300 Pine Street in Palatka to allow the redevelopment of a single-family residence. Surrounding zonings include residential 1A, residential 4, and industrial light. The subject site has a future land use designation of urban service, approximately 90 feet of frontage on Pine Street, and according to the National Wetlands Layer and the FEMA Flood Zone Layer of the GIS reference map, the lands do not appear to contain wetlands and is located in FEMA Flood Zone X, which is not a special flood hazard area. Should the applicant's request be approved, the applicant will then be eligible for obtaining all building and site work permits compatible with the R1A zoning district. Here you can see an aerial overview of the property. The grayed out areas are of course annexed by Palatka. Here you can see the future land use category, the zoning, and you can see that it's right on the fringe between the multiple zoning districts. Staff has recommended approval of the request to amend the zoning map from industrial light to residential 1A. Staff finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the adopted comprehensive plan and meets the locational requirements of the residential 1A zoning district provided in the Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan. At the June 10th, 2026 meeting, the Putnam County Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval of the same.
Thank you, Michael. Are there any questions for the presenter? All right, seeing none, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this item? Anyone wishing to speak on the rezone? All right, coming back to the board.
I'd move approval of rezone REZ 26-000006. Donna Rose, Stephanie Wimmer.
We have a motion on the floor
Second.
and a second. Any further comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. All right, with that, we will, next public hearing coming up will be ordinance amending section 29 of the Putnam County Code, Parks and Recreation, Waterways, and Boat Ramps. We're going to take a quick recess. Be right back in just a few minutes. Yeah, you're going where? Okay. Commissioner Harvey, we're ready. All right, we'll call this meeting back to order. Presenters recognized to present the ordinance. This is the second reading, meeting 2 of 2.
Good morning, fellow commissioners and staff and audience. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
As most of you know, I've been a little under the weather since last Thursday, so I may stumble a little as we work through this, but I felt it was very important that I be here. Excuse me, again. I may need some alcohol in the microphone after I get done. The other evening, we were out there, the three of us, celebrating the lighting of the bridge. And it was a beautiful night. You know, we had a great time, and it brought back memories. And during the ceremony, I was taken back to the memory of Jody Marriott and Chan Dunning crashing into the first channel marker north of the bridge shortly after one of those ceremonies. Although there were only minor cuts and scratches to the boat and its occupants, I was there. And then I thought about a pontoon boat that had two teenage boys on kneeboards thrown into its trimmed-up motor at the old Burger King dock, causing one of them to be rushed to the hospital to sew the sole of his foot back on. I was one of those boys. I was there. When Larry Freeman was struck by a jet ski and both operators were ejected, causing Larry's boat to enter the death spiral, returning to strike and kill the jet ski operator. I still remember the slices in the jet skier's life jacket because I was there. When an offshore fishing boat capsized and sank in the breakers of St. Augustine Inlet while running from a storm with a mother-in-law who could not swim. Fortunately, she survived. I was there. It was my mother-in-law. When a grandfather lost control in a hairpin turn on the Ocklawaha and he and his vessel had to be pulled from the trees. Some of you may remember him. That was former coach and principal Jim Holt. He survived, and yes, I was there. When a young wife was ejected from a bass boat due to a steering failure with the engine narrowly missing her head, while the driver struggled to get the engine shut off before it struck the passenger while entering that same death spiral because the captain wasn't wearing his lanyard. I was there. I was that captain. Coming upon the recent collision of two sheriff's boats, knowing how much worse that same death spiral could have ended, I was there. Watching a river racer flip his boat and subsequently lose his life at Brown's Landing. Yes, I was there. Watching a 50-foot houseboat attempting to dock, crushing and splintering a boater's leg as he tried to fend it off his vessel. I was the captain of that houseboat. I was there. Seeing the owner of Arlington Toyota bury his boat in Brown's Landing sandbar, smashing he and his wife's body into the dash of the windshield of their 27-foot fountain speedboat. They survived, but I was there. Watching a neighboring boater dive into shallow water, snapping his neck and rendering him paralyzed from the neck down. I assume he survived, but the last time I saw him, he was being loaded into a life flight chopper. Leaving Silver Glen in a 32-foot center console offshore boat with Alan Anderson at the helm and being forced back because the storm was so intense. As we returned, we passed by an overturned cabin cruiser, not knowing that two children were drowning as we passed by in that cabin. They did not survive. I was there. Yeah, so tragedy hits me a little differently on the water, and I promised myself that if I had the opportunity to prevent another family from experiencing this type of tragedy, that I would do my best to prevent someone else from seeing what I've had to see. So when I was asked if I could take a look at making the area around the goat farm a little bit safer, I accepted the challenge. After the first reading of the proposed ordinance, there was much dialogue regarding the no-wake zone, with much of the conversation being focused on government overreach and opening the door to other no-wake zones within our county. So as I travel down this road as a statesman, I recognize that what makes a great representative of the people at the county, the state, or even a federal level is listening to your constituents and recognizing that the initial offering may have missed the mark, and recognizing it soon enough that it changes can be enacted before it becomes law. So, in closing, you may never know if what you do saves a life, but I promise you, you'll know if it doesn't. With the support of my fellow commissioners, I respectfully ask that we table this item and direct staff to explore other solutions that may provide a better end product for the people of Putnam County.
All right.
Amen. Thank you.
Is that your presentation?
Yes, I'd entertain a motion
Okay.
to table this.
Well, I will make the motion to take Commissioner Alexander's lead and to table this subject. Directing staff to come up with some less invasive alternatives for us for that space.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Pelletier, you're recognized.
Commissioner Alexander, I commend you for your being there, if you will. I hate it that you had to be there, but I'm glad that you were, and your efforts to help those folks during those tragic situations. But I too feel like we should do some more research here. Maybe there's some signage or some other things that could be done through that area just to let people know, kayakers in use, launch area, just give them some heads up what's going on so they'll know. I think this could be a very popular thing for our county, and if it turned into be something a little more serious than it is now, then maybe we address it again. But I think we're making a wise move here to table this and rethink, if you will. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Alexander, I applaud you, not for the tragedies that you've seen, but for the passion that you have. This is what government's about. We have an idea, we run it up the flagpole, we listen to our constituents, we come back and we regroup sometimes. I applaud you for understanding that. And a better product will come out, a product that everybody can live with. And I thank you again for your passion, I thank you for your friendship, and I thank you for being on this board, because all of us bring a different set of skills to this board, but collectively we move Putnam County forward. And I just thank you for that very much, for your willingness, your passion, and your compassion too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I'll say a few words as well. I appreciate you listening. I'll just go ahead and own it as I put something out on social media, and it was simply I really wanted to hear from our constituents. And I felt like the first reading, we had only heard from a smaller group of people. And going through that process, I learned a lot more. So, and I think we all did. And first I learned that it's a 3-to-1 vote. It was three people, 3-to-1, who didn't want the wake zone in that area. So I commend you for recognizing and listening to that. And I do think that maybe there's a less restrictive approach to that. I definitely agree. One of the things that come up on social media was, and you mentioned it today, was the channel markers. My son hit a channel marker. Yep. Took out half his boat, but he survived. And that he said to me, "Mom, the problem with the channel markers in the river is they flash about every 50 seconds. He said, if they flash at all. And he said, so even with, and it was at night, and it's always dangerous to run your boat at night. We all understand that. But he could have easily not be here today because of that. And so we learned in this process that that's something that needs to be looked at. The other thing I learned in this process, and I was very disappointed with Dunn's Creek State Park, was finding out that boaters can't go up and use the public access from the river, and they can't go up and use the restroom. And people who are out on the river who have a group that they're taking out on a fishing guide trip, they stop to use a public park with a public restroom, with a public dock, and they are the public coming in off of the public water to learn that they cannot use a public restroom. I was so frustrated with that. When I learned that in this post, I was like, okay, now that's a whole different ballgame to me. It's a different subject matter, and I feel like that. And again, it's not a learning. We learned.
It is not our local park rangers.
It's
That
not
is a
us.
mandate from the state, and unfortunately,
Well, then I'm going to
but-
talk to the state legislators
that's
about
what
it.
we need to do, and that's what we're working on. And our park rangers, as evidenced by what you saw on there, turn a blind eye to what they have been mandated to do, because that is unsafe, that is unfair, and I am 100% with you on that.
Yeah, I just don't. I just
It's
don't see how
unbelievable.
you're going to.
You're going to deny somebody a safe dockage during a storm when you have a child? No, that's not
Nothing like
acceptable.
that. That's
not.
unacceptable, right? So thank you for recognizing, and thank you for the citizens for weighing in. Other than one mean comment, most people were, which is good for social media because usually there's a lot more. But for the most part, people explained why they took the position that they took, and then we all listened. And so I don't like having to do that kind of stuff and put things on social media for answers, but I do recognize too that not everybody can come to a board meeting. And so that was my first time ever doing that, and I want you to understand, my purpose was not to go against you. My purpose was truly to find out what our citizens want, and I felt like they had not been able to explain themselves. So thank you again. First of all, thank you for recognizing that there's an issue, because there is an issue there. And we want to do what is safe but not so restrictive that it is an infringement on people's rights.
Yep.
So this is a public hearing, and I know you asked to table it. I'm going to have to ask for public comment.
Let me make two more comments
Yes,
before
sir.
we leave. So the two takeaways that I feel are very important from this that we have listened to our public, but also this has drawn attention to a 6,200 acre park.
Yes.
That has an approved management plan that has been approved since 2018 that our state has chosen not to act on.
I agree. That could be a big economic boom for our community.
There are provisions in that plan for an additional dockage that will allow for our constituents to use the restrooms and enter the park from the water. But our state has chosen not to move forward with it. That is not a reflection of this commission. All we can do is push and ask on the state level.
Yes,
but
sir.
I hope this brings attention to that.
I agree with you, and I appreciate that very much.
you,
Commissioner
guys.
Newbold, you're recognized.
I spoke with a boater who had firsthand experience with that lack of hospitality at the state park. I reached out to the Friends of Dunn Creek State Park, which is not the state park. They are a nonprofit organization which volunteers, and their mission is to make things happen there at the state park for the benefit of the public. I brought that issue up to them. They recognize that it has been an issue in the past. They had some unhospitable staff that has since been changed, and they assured me that while it is not the state policy, they have had discussions with park rangers, and I don't think we'll have that lack of hospitality if you have a weather emergency or just a need for the restroom. So I think that has been improved, but there's going to have to be a whole new regimen when that new management plan comes into place.
Okay.
It'll be a new world.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second on the floor, but we need to take public comment. Is there any public comment on this, tabling this item? Is there any public comment? All right, seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. All right, motion to table passes. Public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed in the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. We have 2 items, correspondence and item B, a sheriff's office on the a consent agenda. We have some new business as well. Are there any comment cards? We will have an opportunity to take miscellaneous items as well.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
on the new business, if it's okay with you, I'd like to pull item C off of there. We're not ready. Ms. Alsabrook has been traveling professor and found herself in the mountains of North Carolina teaching, and she has not had time to prepare the history of that park. So I'd like to pull that item off of the agenda, please.
All right, we will pull item C
Off of the new business.
of
yes,
new
ma'am.
business, Parks and Recreation, rename Melrose Park. I'd like to go ahead and do the consent agenda. Both of these items are on new business, and then we'll bring up the new business.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the consent agenda on A and B.
All right,
Second.
second. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries for consent agenda. So new business is administration, animal control enforcement. I think, well, what I'd like to do is hear the, on this one, hear the presentation first, and then we'll go into public comment and discussion from the board.
Sure. Thank you so much, Chair. As reported in your agenda packet, on July 14th, members of Animal Control team, as well as County Administration, Commissioner Newbold, members of the Sheriff's Office, members of the City of Palatka, the State's Attorney's Office, all met together to collaborate on what the enforcement process looks like moving forward. So as you may or may not know, historically we had some citations. However, the process was found to not be, I guess, legally standing, and didn't provide the Sheriff's Office the venue for the citations to truly be punitive, essentially. So what's been determined by both our legal counsel, as well as Mr. Sharp was there weighing in and helping us from the Sheriff's Office legal counsel, is that we would have to revise the ordinance to make the infractions as deemed, whichever infractions the board deems to be a citable infraction, escalate them into what they call a criminalized infraction, so they would become a second-degree misdemeanor. At that time, all of our law enforcement partners, as well as animal control officers that are certified, would have the ability to write a citation just like they do a parking ticket or anything else that would fall under their purview. The board would need to do quite a bit of work on directing staff as to what the ordinance would look like, the fee schedule, which offenses would be those that could be cited for an individual. Additionally, there would be some cost associated with the program, although Mr. Reynolds has told us the filing fees are nominal. Mr. Reynolds was not available at our meeting, and of course, the process would have to go through the judicial system. So Mr. Reynolds' court staff would have to take on an additional docket at that time, as would the county judges, as would the public defender, and all of those could incur. The county judges wouldn't incur a cost, but the clerk's office and the public defenders would incur a cost that would be passed back to the county, as the county would be liable for paying a public defender's the legal fees associated with representation from the public defender for any individual who requires a lawyer but is legally entitled to one under the law. So with that, we're here just as a first conversation with the board. I know enforcement and citation process is something the board's asked us to look at, and why we are or aren't writing the citations. And so obviously we were able to ascertain that information, as well as what it would look like if we did want to move forward in this realm.
All right. Commissioner Newbold, would you like to?
Sure. I'd like to commend the staff and the group from the community who came together last month and maybe it was earlier this month to start this process. There was a lot of good dialogue. I think agreement amongst that group that this was a space that needed improvement. I learned a lot in that space. This subject was pretty passionate when I was running. I think most of the folk who ran at our time got up and spoke about trying to improve this space, just animal services in general. We've made great strides in hiring of new staff, new management, new animal shelter. There'll be collaborations with public entities such as the mobile unit, hiring a part-time veterinarian. There's been so much positive happen in this space. The missing element is enforcement of code. So this was an effort to start that process. While we do still have some data to bring back to the commission, I have spoken with Clerk Reynolds. I've reached out to Judge Johnson, who's been away for a while, hadn't been able to get back with me, but we intend to meet again with the full complement of partners and flesh out, come back to you with suggested fee schedules, which infractions might be fines, which might be opportunities for education, things such as that. I do believe we can get to a workable format. Many other counties make this happen. I'm sure we can. I believe there is a desire for the community to have us move in this direction. I'd just like to ask for support from the balance of the commission to continue forward and try to bring this into reality.
Okay. All right. Is there any questions for staff at this point or for Commissioner Newbold? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to commend Commissioner Newbold for taking on, this is a big topic. It's got lots of legs. It's spread out tremendously. I think there's a public perception that I was against anything about animal, and that's just truly not true. But I'm more of a carrot instead of a stick guy. But there is times that the stick is needed, and there's no doubt about that. So I think this is a step in the right direction. My heart of hearts, I wish, and I'm as passionate about animals as anybody, I wish people just took care of their animals. That's the bottom line. If they took care of their animals, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. The way I took care of mine lived a life of luxury, truly, and I'm sure Commissioner Wilkinson, she's got some Labradors, they live a life of luxury, okay? Better than some people live. I hate to say that, but mine lived very comfortable, but he was a great companion for us. And I see most people have that companionship, but there are people, and I was out riding my area the other day looking for illegal dump sites, and these pit bulls, and I'm not disbarring one animal versus another, but they're just laying in the middle of the road, no care. You call, but this is a step in the right direction, and we've solved our animal services facility. That was horrendous. We've got a new facility. We've got a new director. We've got a new positive attitude. I mean, we had a pickleball court dedication with a dog park there, and how exciting that was. So, and we invested in this trailer for animals to be served in, and maybe that's not going to happen the way it was supposed to, but I'm telling you, a lot of good things are coming. So I do think a good workshop coming up would be more than adequate, and as we start nibbling this one bite at a time, we're going to get there, and we're going to get there to help the citizens of Putnam County so we don't see the tragedies that are taking place. So thank you, Commissioner Newbold. Thank you to our staff, and thank you to the Sheriff's Department, Clerk of the Court, our judges, everybody who's been involved in this, and we'll continue to see good things coming. But I do encourage a workshop coming up when you're ready for that, so we can dedicate our time and our effort for that moment, for that purpose. Thank you.
Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I echo Commissioner Harvey's comments. The unfortunate thing is, we have to put guidelines in place, not just for children, but also for animals, because people, they forget that you have a responsibility to those animals just as you do your children. And it's really encouraging to see our clerk of courts and our sheriff's office and our judicial system all getting on board. And again, I want to commend Commissioner Newbold for taking action and bringing that to fruition. And if we've got all facets of the government working together to make this better, I think that we can. We've made the strides that we can on the commission side by adding new staff, creating a new facility. And I believe the buy-in is there from the dais. And now I'm very proud to see that the sheriff's office and everybody else is interested in making it a better Putnam County. Thank you, guys.
So just so I have some clarity on this, this is like one step forward. We don't have a draft ordinance. We have this, I see this agenda item, and it says, in order to move forward, the following tasks must be accomplished. Meeting with the clerk's office to determine ability to accommodate new process for payment process. Meeting with county judges, meeting with public defenders, and then revising the animal control ordinance. So this is a step, like Commissioner Harvey said, a step in the right direction, but there's a lot that goes ahead of this before it becomes an actual, hey, this is what will happen. That's your understanding?
Yes, and you're absolutely right. We've been working on, got a group together working to revise the code now in conjunction with Animal Services, community group, myself, staff, revising that. It's not complete, but it's coming together. We intend to have another meeting with the initial group, but to add to that group, the clerk and our judge. I would like to do that in the same venue as we have in the past. We can have a public workshop at some time if you would like, but I intend to come to you with these items complete and ready for the commission's review. And we may bring something to you that you would like to change in some way, shape, or form. But I want to before we go any farther, I wanted to get our commission's approval to move in that space. So I don't want to, if you guys are not interested in this, I don't want to waste the time.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. So that's really the ask here today, to kind of give an update to the public, to you guys, as to what we've achieved so far, and the few steps that we need to complete to kind of bring it home, so to speak.
All right. Commissioner Pelletier, you're recognized.
I'll be very brief. I agree with all of my colleagues here across the board. It's sad that we have to step in and scold someone, if you will, for not taking care of their animals, not doing the right thing, but something has to be put in place to, in other words, get their attention. And you can do it a couple of ways, but you can certainly start in their hip pockets. Probably the best places to get something rolling. But I do support this very much. Thank you, Commissioner Newbold.
All right, going into public comment, speaker card, Diane Kelly, you're recognized. Do we have any other cards other than the ones you've given me, Miss Ashley? Okay.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, Diane Kelly, 123, excuse me, Lakeside Lane, Crescent City, Florida. Wanted to certainly thank all of you for entertaining this topic. I don't want to focus much at all on the past, but I will say a couple of things about the past. I've done a lot of research on this, and I've been fortunate enough to work with Mr. Godbold and others on this topic. And frankly, we had a commission previously that made willful decisions to neglect caring for animals, following the law, and protecting people as they should. That's the past, but it is true. We can argue it any way we want, but it's a fact. So today, we have, and I'm hoping that this team will say, yes, we're going to move forward. We are committed to enforcing animal welfare laws in this county. Again, I've done countless research, many of you know that, and bottom line, Putnam County is one of the only counties, the only one that I've found in Florida that does not enforce. We have to do that. And I did want to start my speaking by thanking J.R. Newbold, because J.R. Newbold, in my opinion, is a model example of a commissioner who's willing to confront very difficult conversations, because this has been a very emotional topic for a lot of people. He's spoken with a lot of people, and he took the bull by the horns and he said, I am going to champion this because it's important to the community. It's one of the top issues in the community, if not the top issue. So he took the bull by the horns, he's taking it, he's championing it, he's trying to rally the troops so that we can say, what do we need to do? What are the issues? How do we move forward? So I want to thank Mr. Newbold for that, because I think that's a perfect example of a commissioner taking strong leadership on a county-wide issue that is charged with emotion, frustration, and concern. So thank you, sir. So the past, we all know the past, not a good place, but we're in a very different place right now. We do have a new commission. I believe this is a commission that does care about people and animals. And many of you know that all of the situations that we've seen with the dog bites, even unfortunately a couple of deaths over time, if you look at any studies out there, 70 to 80% of the time, those are dogs that have been neglected and abused. And unfortunately, they're the ones who pay the price because they're normally put down, when the owner should be the one paying the price. We have got to hold people accountable. It's just like with children. If you don't take care of your child, Child Protective Services is going to step in and the law will step in. It is no different. So I'm very thankful that this issue is before us. We have to move forward. I will say as well, I did look at a lot of the cases under not freedom of information, but a records request to understand what the sheriff's data looks like. And bottom line is, for 3 years, 2022 to 2025, we only had an average of 7 arrests per year, referrals for animal abuse and cruelty. We probably have 7 a week in Interlochen alone. And I think we know that. This suffering is unspeakable. And when I looked at those records and I see neighbor shot cat and the guts are hanging out, that's from the sheriff's office. And you know what happened to that request? And there's many of them out there. It was referred to animal control. They're not even empowered to write a $5 ticket. That's unacceptable, guys. We all know that. So anyway, the bottom line, it is time. It's time for change. We've got to make a change. The good news, I think, and I had the fortune of being in that July 14th meeting that was a cross-functional team of folks throughout the county that include the sheriff's office, the state attorney's office, and certainly administrators of the commission and a host of others. And what I saw, and I just want citizens to know this, I saw people who do care and they do want to see change, they want to be part of change, and they want to make it happen. So hats off, and I want to thank Julianne, others, for saying, we're going to make a change, we're going to do something about this. So I do thank the team for allowing me to be present, and there's a lot of good news there, because there's a lot of support there. Even Mr. Shorstein from the state attorney's office said, send the work to me. I want to get the work, send it to me. It wasn't an issue of, I don't know if I can handle the workload, I don't know if that's going to be a budget issue. He said, get it to me. So there's so much commitment out there. And there are a lot of good folks that work in the county, without a doubt. And I think we have a commission that's going to say, come on, team, we got to move forward. It's time.
Thank you,
We're not
Ms.
going to
Kelly.
tolerate the suffering. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next up we have Yvette Reyes.
Yvette Reyes, P.O. Box 253, Bostwick. First, I'm disappointed that I was told at the last meeting that that meeting was private, but we had a citizen involved. I have come before this board, Larry's the only one that knows, for 12 years to discuss animal services. While we have made strides in where we are with animal services, but if we're going to have meetings, the community needs to be involved. It can't just be siloed. If we're going to have discussions like this, I have a lot of questions. and I would have liked to be part of that meeting. So if we are going to go to a second meeting, it needs to be a workshop, and it needs to be in the evening so that those that are working can actually attend the meeting and express their concerns to you all. My next comment is, would you guys consider mandatory spay-neuter? It's the only way we're going to address these issues. I understand that some of you have breeder dogs and you want breed dogs. I personally have 4 pit bulls that are rescues from animal control, from SAFE. They're all fixed. All of my animals are fixed. I have 20 cats, 4 dogs, and I am fostering 9 other cats. A mama with 5 kittens, and I'm bottle feeding 4 babies. That's a lot of animals for one person. So if we're going to address this animal issue, we have to start at the root. Mandatory spay-neuter is what we need to start with. We need to figure out how to register animals and get every animal spayed or neutered to stop this. The next question I have for this is going to address citations to people who are abandoning animals or who are neglecting animals. For those people who have their animals roaming, is this also going to apply, right? And I'm going to bring it up, the whole cat issue that Mr. Scott brought out. He has his cat roaming. How is it anybody's responsibility to take care of his cat? I can guarantee you, I love animals, but if an animal comes on my property to kill one of my animals, I will kill it. I'm not calling animal control. I'm not calling the sheriff's office. Thank you.
Do we have any other speaker cards? Thank you. Lisa Kreisman, Kersman? Okay. My apologies if I butchered your name. I got close.
Hello.
Hello.
This is my first time in the building. I'm 3 years new to the county.
If you'll state your address for
And
the
I
record.
live at Lisa Kruzman, and I live at 109. You know what, 109 was my childhood address, so
No,
of course
it's
I had to buy a
Pleasant,
house with the
109
same.
Pleasant Trail?
109 Pleasant Trail, Crescent City. I was a board member with ARC for 2 years, not currently. I do help them when I can. I am your admin for the Animal Welfare League of Putnam County Facebook page. I am a member of the Dog Writers Association of America. I've written about dogs for 15 years. I'm also a blogger for Widow's Voice, Soaring Spirits International, unfortunately. So my biggest writing genre is about the animal-human bond, specifically dogs. And I know I'm a newcomer, and I've been watching and quietly kind of reporting and writing, and I'm writing a story. I'm writing a series that will be read nationwide and beyond. I've drafted it. It's an installation, so I wait and I watch, and I am happy to see, I'm encouraged to see some improvement and the passion here. And again, I'm a newcomer. I'm from New Jersey. I just came from Camden County 3 years ago. They have a problem there too, very similar to yours. So I'm no stranger to this. I realize Putnam County is a very large county. You have your challenges here. Recognize that. Glad to see some movement. I've sat at many of the AWL meetings, helped organize them, also helped raise funds for the spay and neuter trailer. And I hope that does stay in the county. We really, really need it. I've won awards for my writing on spay and neuter. Went to Arizona to accept my award. I wrote about the challenges in New Mexico with the indigenous people there. So again, no stranger to the challenges of this subject. So I guess I want to just say for 15 years I've written about this subject, and I really want to put a good light on Putnam County. I really, as I write the story in my second memoir, and you're in it, the town is in it, Putnam County's in it, I want to really show a great story with a good ending from a county that accepted the challenges. And I know there are many. I've only been here 3 years, but I've kind of gotten to know a lot of people in animal rescue here. I respect them. I agree with everything that's been said by Diane and Yvette. So if there's anything I can do as a writer, as a blogger, I do write about this even for the Widow's Voice every Saturday morning. I always try to get a little dog infused information there because to widowed people and people who really are forgotten and need help, their pets really are the way back. So I hope they help. Thank you. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. Ms. Jenny Oakwood.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Putnam County, in my opinion, needs to do this, and I pray it doesn't take a decade. Putnam County is the hole in the donut. All the surrounding counties have this in place. It's simple as requiring the owners to prove rabies vaccination is a statute. There's no reason why we can't do this. And I pray that all of you all, including Ms. Young, goes forward, and including Mr. Reynolds, because this cannot wait another decade. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speaker cards? Anybody else wishing to speak on this subject? All right. Back to the board. Any other comments? Ms. Young, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Just for clarity, to address maybe our path forward, give an option, at least a recommendation by staff. And let me first say, excluding Ms. Reyes was never the intent. It was an agency meeting. One of the attendees requested Ms. Kelly's attendance based on her relative knowledge, and so she was there. But agreed, if one citizen, to Ms. Reyes's point, if one citizen is there, then certainly the more citizen input we have, the better the scenario.
Yes,
So I believe maybe the recommendation would be that we essentially have some concurrent initiatives going, one being your staff working group with your agencies, your law enforcement partners, your judicial partners, your clerk partners, who truly can work through the logistics of what this process looks like. So those partners really are going to be materially focused on the A, B, C, D, how do we connect the dots and get it from start to finish? And then we can incorporate any citizen who desires to provide input into our Animal Services Advisory Board, who also needs to be providing input on what the ordinance should look like at the end, which violations would rise to an occasion of a law enforcement agency writing a citation, and then hopefully bring you back some information from both of those working groups. Again, truly, there was no intention to exclude one citizen over another.
Okay, I have a question. As we're going forward in this exercise, or this process, I should call it, the county is writing the ordinance, is that correct? Not an outside third party?
That's correct. It would be a county, yes, the county is writing the ordinance. Again, there has been citizens who have given input to date, but as our ordinance stands today, it is county written. And that's the input that I do believe probably the best and most prudent forum to vet that out will be your Animal Services Advisory Committee, who the board has elected members, or appointed members, I'm sorry, representing each of the districts. And then obviously it's open to the public as well. So we could have it in here if we needed to, and have as much input as we needed to make sure we've got a fair representation of the citizens' desires that wish to speak on the topic.
Thank you. That's where I was going to go with that. So, just like we learned through this process of a potential no-wake zone, we learned that not everybody agreed, right? And so it ended up overwhelmingly being something different than what we originally thought. But at the end of the day, we're going to end up with a good product, right? And so I think, in my opinion, that's where I am, because when you start talking about mandatory spay and neuter and you're requiring your citizens to do X, Y, and Z, those citizens should line up in this room and tell us what they want. It shouldn't be 10 people in a group. it should be an open public workshop. Whoever said that, I completely agree. And if we have to spend 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever we got to spend to hear the citizens' input, that's what I would want. I would want that. And so I think, did somebody recommend an evening meeting? I think that's a great idea too. I think I hear what you're saying about the animal advisory, but I think even bigger than that maybe we get a recommendation from them, and then we have a big open meeting and a big discussion about it when we get to that point.
Of course, or you can do it in reverse order, however
or you can do it in the reverse order.
However you'd like to move forward. I just wanted to bring some clarity to the confusion that was there, and I think it is prudent to separate the two work groups.
Mm-hmm. And it's got to be tailored to Putnam County, because we, as one citizen recognized, we have some uniqueness, and so and different challenges that we have here still need to follow the laws that are already in place, of course. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Yes, ma'am. And this is a little bit off topic, but since we've got Miss Jenny in the room, could you come forward, Miss Jenny?
If we're going to talk about the trailer, can we do that separately? Is that what you were going to do?
Yeah, I was just going to get an update on that.
I'd really like us to get through this, and then we can bring up the trailer. I have no problem with that, but I'd like for us to get through this.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you were finished with that discussion.
Yeah, no, we got it. We haven't called our vote yet.
Let's do that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the topic of this conversation, I'm looking at the Animal Services Advisory Committee, and I see that it consists of 9 members, but my district doesn't have one. District 1 doesn't have one. I think we need to get this updated, and if we can do that, let's see, it's not consisting of 9 members, 1 from each district, must reside in the district, 4 at large. So maybe we need to, if it's going to filter back through them, maybe we need to look at this, because I don't think this is exactly right now. I didn't know I had an opening, but I don't know if we really need to have them residing in our district. I would say that, but I would like to get an appointment on there, and I didn't know we had one, so maybe, yes, I do. It's on my list, but okay. But it's just not on this list.
All right, and we'll get to appointments, but that's a good point as we go through our appointments today, and we'll look into whatever more appointments we need. Yes, sir. All right, so any other public comment on this item? Oh my goodness, Diane, you had one time. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about animal trailer in a minute, but yes, sir, come forward. Let's get through it. We have another public comment right here.
Edward Serta, 1007 Marion Avenue, Interlochen, Florida. Thank you so much. One of the things that wasn't raised also that you should be aware of is that where I'm at my location.
Yes, sir.
I actually, I own a lot of property, a lot of property. One of the biggest challenges with this dogs issues that we're having also is that you have all these code enforcement that RVs that are coming and staying on these lands and have all these dogs roaming around, and they don't have any gates or anything. That's another issue that we're having. I can't keep buying properties and properties to eliminate these problems, but code enforcement needs to get in there and start eliminating or these RVs that are living on these lots, or the rent-to-own people, these slumlords that just have things and they put RVs, tents. These dogs are all roaming all around, and so that is another huge problem, man, is that you got to get the RVs out that are just living not on the land that are supposed to be in RVs, yet they got all these dogs and cats and pigs and whatever, all over there. I've actually reached out to Larry several times, and I says, how much money do you need so I can help you or pay for something, because I can do it. I mean, thank God I have those means. But, getting code enforcement, it takes a whole...
Have you turned them in?
Yeah, I bought the property.
No, but
and
I mean,
keep buying the property, and I keep buying the property.
Well, then I appreciate that, but I'm
trying to improve Interlochen, Lake Grandin area.
I am very appreciative of that.
I got another guy that I'm taking to court, and actually, I'm, retired lawyer with my wife too, veteran lawyer, on that. I'm taking another slumlord who's got animal cruelty. It's depressing every single day. I feel horrible for those dogs. I've called animal control, and like this beautiful lady right here said, they don't have the power to do anything. Not even give a $5 ticket, nothing. And you just see this every day, and you see this like, my gosh, you know, what poor dogs, really poor animals. It's not right, it's not fair. But they're living in a tent, they're living in RVs. I've got code enforcement coming there. I'm taking it to court. So now I'm in court. It'll be August something when I go, and I had enough. But I keep buying the land, I keep improving the land, putting new homes in Interlaken. I'm doing the right, trying to make it better, because Interlaken is a nice place. Here's what I have to say, actually. I don't think you guys are ready for the evolution that's happening. Putnam County's getting a lot more educated, a lot more money's coming in, and they're building nicer new things. So you have to move a lot faster, because it has to happen. It's coming, and you can't stop it.
That's right.
There's people coming with money and education that want nicer things. It's a nice area, and I'm sorry that the people that, and why that's happening is because if you lose your home because you don't pay your taxes, you don't think, well, they're just going to buy it up. Well, wasn't their fault, and they're going to put nice homes on there. They're going to do things. And that's what I'm doing. Not that I'm a developer. I just like to see nice things. But these poor dogs are all over the place. These owners are not held accountable for anything. I've called Putnam County. In fact, I have Putnam County Sheriff on the same block that I am. 2 of them. How can they not do it? I don't get it. And not only that, the element that the RVs are another problem. You guys got to start doing that code enforcement, I'm telling you, and they're not doing it. They're just not doing it. So you guys should have a meeting with the code enforcement over there and get them to say, hey, man, what are you going to do about this? I got 6 RVs in the area I own 5 acres. How much more do I want to get? I can't, I don't know how much more you want me to keep buying. I shouldn't have to be put in that kind of position, let me put you that way, that I got to buy to eliminate and not see that crap. I'm just being honest.
Yes, sir.
And it's sad. It really is. But I don't know. If you need money, let me know. I don't know what you guys need. What we ever got to do.
May have found your new appointee, Larry.
I was fixing that.
Whatever you need. I don't know what to tell you, sir.
Right here. Do you want to be appointed to the Animal Service Committee right now? Because I got a spot open. Do you?
I love animals. Trust me. I
want to be appointed today. I can make it happen right now. Okay?
Let the public speak,
Yes.
not me.
We can talk afterwards.
But I want to say this, though. The Sheriff's Department of Putnam County are awesome. They are really nice people.
Why don't
really
you sit down and think about it and give me the thumbs up when you're ready, okay?
Mr. Larry,
I'm looking forward to it.
I think you should appoint this lady right here, whoever. She was really good.
He's looking for a district appointment.
But thank you so much, Mr. Larry.
All right.
I would help.
And that's the road I was on the other day when I saw the dogs laying all over the place. I know. So,
But it's coming, folks.
Yes,
you
sir.
gotta. It's coming, and it's not right. But start with the RVs too, because there's a lot of vacant land, and people are just squatting on it, bringing RVs.
Yes, sir. That's been a subject we've talked about.
Yeah, it needs to. And I put it down so you can eliminate what I was about to say.
Okay.
But
All right.
Thank you, ma'am, for
Thank you.
hearing me. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Diane, you had a point of clarity. You can come up real quick.
I think you all know I've been trying to push this for the last 3 years, and I've had countless meetings on this topic, and I'm really tired of it. Today, there will be more animals shot, there will be more guts hanging out, there will be more starvations, because we are not enforcing the law. I am only asking that all 5 of you please say in this meeting that yes, you will support Putnam County enforcing animal welfare state statutes, period. I'm asking for that commitment. That's what I thought we were going to do today.
Okay.
And then the details can all be worked out, as Julianne said. But let's put a stake in the sand and say we're not going to be the only county around here that doesn't enforce the law. And we care about these animals. We care about people screaming and saying, help me, please. The case for Brandy, there's tons of those cases. This suffering is unspeakable. It really is unspeakable. Please, can every one of you just say, yes, I support Putnam County enforcing animal welfare laws. And then let the team and citizens work through the details. Please. Please.
All right,
Can
thank
you
you.
do that today, please?
Thank you. All right, back to the board.
Madam Chair, I think this is a great start. I think I'm looking forward to a workshop. I would not have a problem with an evening workshop. And I'd like to see what I'm fixing to say yes to, but I will tell you that I'm in support of Commissioner Newbold's and the Animal Control Enforcement Initiative, and I'd like to see this go forward.
Mr. Newbold? I'm looking for you. This is your, no, we're going to discuss this. Go ahead, Mr. Newbold, what is your comments?
Well, I mean, we don't have a resolution here, so to speak.
Correct.
I don't have much in the way of comments other than to ask our board to provide direction, to support this initiative and provide staff direction to move forward with everything that was outlined in our presentation package.
In our agenda item?
Yep, in our agenda item that will push us forward in this space and hopefully in a timely fashion, relatively timely fashion, achieve the goal of animal enforcement in Putnam County.
Okay, so we have.
Motion?
Yes.
I second that motion.
We have a motion from Mr. Newbold. Is that correct?
Second.
That's a motion.
All right, and a second by Commissioner Harvey. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, going forward, we have up our quarterly budget report.
Hey, Briar.
Good morning, Commissioners. Okay, so today we're doing the fiscal year 26 Q3 budget report. So we're going to start off with the Commissioners' discretionary dollars. So these are the dollars that y'all are given at the beginning of the year to spend on capital projects that y'all deem are necessary or beneficial to the community. So I'm going to start off by just telling you the current budget you have and then just listing off the projects under each commissioner real quick. So for District 1 J.R. Newbold, you have a current budget of $150,547. And you have the Lake Como Shuffleboard Courts, Lake Como Basketball Courts, Georgetown Park Pole Barn, Purchase Arm for Rescue South Putnam Sports Complex Mower, the South Putnam Sports Complex Tractor, the South Putnam Sports Complex Barn, the Fairgrounds Roof, lightning detection at South Putnam, street improvements, 3 fire thermal cameras, 3 turf mowers, a fire rescue drone, animal control catio, and the South Putnam floor.
Briar, I really don't want us to sit here and go through and read every one of these.
I'll just give you the current budget for each
All right,
commissioner.
thank you.
There you go.
For Miss Leota, District 2, she has a current budget of $259,524. For District 3, Joshua Alexander, he has a budget of $84,749. District 4, Larry Harvey has a budget of $35,182. And District 5, Walton Palacier has a budget of $254,417.
All right, I have one question. Commissioner Harvey, on your last item, you've got South Putnam Church, $25,000. What was that for? Did you make a donation to the church?
Commissioners.
Actually, that was supposed to be cleaned up for last week. It's supposed to say South Putnam Church, not Crutch. And it's for the flooring down there that I believe Commissioner Newbold and I put in for the floor that our MOU with the South Putnam Recreational Place.
So it's 50 total, it's not 50 plus their 50?
No, it's 50 total, and the
Okay.
50 is coming from both Commissioner Newbold and Commissioner Harvey, who are supporting the renovation of that gym floor, which is where we do our programs in South Putnam for Parks and Recreation.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Briar.
So I don't know how to spell that great, Madam Chair, but I did see that last week when this
It's
came
okay,
out.
I wasn't worried
And I
about
made an
spelling.
immediate
I
phone
was-
call.
I was
about it.
making sure that it was 50,000 total and not 100,000.
Madam Chair, can I make a statement before you go too much further? You know, this is capital improvement dollars. This is, I think, in my opinion, a fast strike fund where staff and the community comes to us with projects. This is money that comes out of our general fund reserves, and we're able to do remarkable things. So when you look at the list of things that have been accomplished, they weren't budgeted for, but they popped up and the community had a need, and us commissioners were able to step in and do something with that. But you see lightning detectors, you see defibrillators, you see fairgrounds, you see parks and rec, you see mowers, you see all kinds of fire rescue, pickleball courts. You see many, many things that need immediate attention that weren't necessarily budgeted for. But we're using our general fund reserves to attack these things for the betterment of our community. So I want to thank each and every one of you, but truly spend that money down and let's get this money out into our community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, go, Mr. Breyer.
So we're going to go over the general fund. The revenues are all normal, well expected to meet end of year projections. Taxes are at 96% at 62,604,000. It's up 6%. So Q2 it was at 90%. The total revenue for that fund is 95%. Expenses all look normal. Personnel, operating capital, all within normal means and should finish the year well and good. Transportation, we talked a little bit about this at the budget workshop. The tax revenue for the gas tax has been coming down, and that's because gas prices are higher. It's a flat rate, so just because people are buying more expensive gas, they're buying less gas, and it's not increasing. So that's one thing we should keep in mind as we build the budget going forward, is that this fund is typically in the red, and its main source of revenue is coming down. Permits, fees, and special assessments are good. Intergovernmental is all good. Expenses all look normal. We're well within means for operating and personnel, but again, it's just one we should keep in our minds as we build the budget going forward because it does run in the red. The fire fund, fund revenues are going really well. Real quick note, intergovernmental is low because money was moved back to fiscal year 25 for the HMPG grant. West Putnam Fire Station has had some work done and some equipment has been bought, and that's the 1 million, almost 1 million you'll see down at the bottom for capital. As that's turned in, those grants will be reimbursed for intergovernmental, and you'll see that revenue come out of the negative and eventually come up when those grants are turned in.
Good.
You want me to retouch that, or that makes sense?
No, I just
Okay.
that was my question. You answered it.
As those grants get turned in, they should get that revenue in. So moving on to the sanitation fund. Sanitation fund's doing really well. They're up $1 million in revenue for permits, fees, and in special assessments. They have the intergovernmental $3 million gasification project, and their expenses are all well and normal within means. The East Putnam Water Fund, you're going to look at it and it's going to be a little audit first. So we're just going to skip intergovernmental and touch that in a second. Charges for services are doing real well. They're at 74%. Fiscal year 25 Q3 was at 62% and 1,125,000. So we've seen a $250K increase at the same point from last year. And that's just because we've gotten more people on those services. Other revenue, it's really high. That's your interest. So going down to expenses, you'll see personnel is good, operating is normal. Capital has had $3.9 million spent, and a vast majority of that is the FDEP septic to sewer, and it's had $2.3 million. And then a big portion of that is the Army Corps water supply phase 1, and it's both of those have had work, but we've not received any revenue for this year from those. And that's why your intergovernmental looks like this. And then it's negative 1350 because 1350 was moved to fiscal year 25 for the Curry Road lift generator. So this is one that should be fine, but we should definitely keep an eye on and make sure we get those grant reimbursements back. And finally, we have St. John's Harbor Water Plant. This is a rather new fund. The charges for services are at 81%, $146,000. That's really good. We want it to be at 75% at this point of the year to cover its operating costs, which it is doing. Personnel is real low, operating is in normal bounds, and then capital has a rapid infiltration basin engineering and redesign that's had some work, but not a lot of work done on it yet. Any questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you, Pryor.
Thank you.
All right, Parks and Rec, we talked about that's been pulled. We have code enforcement. And then we'll be going in to comment on miscellaneous items.
Madam Chair, is anyone in the audience here for any codes enforcement cases?
All right, seeing none.
Madam Chair, I'd like to go ahead and move this process forward really quick.
Thank
On
you.
Codes Case 2013-00563, the recommendation is pay the hard cost back to the citizens of Putnam County of $6,146 to be paid within 180 days. That's my recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next.
All right, let me get there. I'm working on the computer, so it's a little slow right now, but here we go. On the next case, 2014-00567, the staff recommendation is a hard cost back to Putnam County citizens of $1,557 to be paid within 90 days. That's our recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Madam Chair, on the following case, the last case, case number 2020-00355, staff recommendation is the reduced fine cost, the actual hard cost back to the citizens of Putnam County, $1,698 if paid within 90 days.
Second.
We have a motion, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So as we go into our budget year, I would like to see our planning department and our codes enforcement work on these numbers. When we say that we've been using these costs per unit, I know the entire 4 years I've been here, I don't know that they've changed. And as we move forward in the fact that we're probably going to have to deal with a $15 million loss if amendment passes, tax reform passes. And if the purpose of this is to say, all right, the original fine is this, but we just need to recoup our actual cost, then I think we need to go through and say, is this our actual cost? Because we haven't done that exercise in a while. And then come back with what our actual cost is. Because we know that cost per hour has gone up and everything has gone up. So I would just ask staff if they would take a look at that and come back as we look at going into our new budget year. Thank you. Public comment on miscellaneous items. Now we will have that. Thank you, ma'am. Brittany Wise.
Good morning,
Hi.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm Brittany Wise. I'm at 1720 Harrison Street, Hollywood, Florida, 33020. I serve as spokesperson for the Florida Digital Infrastructure and Security Alliance, or FDISA. We are a newly launched statewide 501c6 trade association representing Florida companies and homegrown community leaders across technology, water, energy, and infrastructure sectors who are committed to advancing Florida's digital future. We are here today simply to introduce ourselves and our organization. We appreciate the thoughtful and respectful dialogue taking place around this important issue, as well as the transparency, which is why we're introducing ourselves via public comment. FDISA believes that thoughtfully planned and well-developed digital infrastructure is essential to Florida's continued success, competitiveness, and security. Our goal is to help policymakers and communities make informed decisions by providing credible information, research, and access to subject matter experts. With clear expectations and strong standards, Florida can protect land, water, and neighborhoods while encouraging the innovation that makes these facilities more efficient, sustainable, and better neighbors. Communities should not have to choose between protecting their quality of life and welcoming economic opportunity. Both are possible. To that end, we recently submitted an op-ed to the Palatka Daily News outlining our perspective, and we will also share it with the Commission, along with an invitation to meet individually with any commissioner who would find it helpful. Data centers play an important role in providing the services people rely on every day, including healthcare, financial services, emergency communications, education, business, and the digital platforms that power modern life. They are also a vital part of America's national and cybersecurity infrastructure, helping ensure critical data remains secure and housed in the United States. We look forward to engaging on these and other issues with Putnam County and other communities across the state. If FDISA can ever be of service as a resource, please don't hesitate to reach out, Thank you for your time and service to the community.
Thank you for introducing yourself today. Next, we have Larry Flaman. Sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Larry Flaman, 204 Perry Street, Pomona Park. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors for the Friends of Dunn's Creek. And as a point of information, I just wanted to let you know that part of our founding documents in our charter is that we promote public access to the park. So anything that you guys can do to help us with that, I certainly appreciate it.
So to the point that I brought up earlier, public access from all different ways or just for kayakers?
No, absolutely.
So you're okay with motorboats coming on?
Yeah, with a proper dock.
Okay.
You know, that dock is not proper right now for boat landing.
Okay.
And also, if you're gonna put a dock and a boat launch in, I think it'd be better to make this is my personal opinion, it'd be better to make an indentation from the creek rather than putting it like out on the creek, just to prevent the issue with boat wakes and stuff. So just I didn't realize that it was going to be such an extensive discussion today, so I'm not really prepared, but I just thought I'd give you that information about.
Okay, no, that's fair. I think I mean, that's why we have these open forums, so we can ask questions and get information.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Larry, for coming up. Just a point of clarity, for those that don't know, the Friends of Dunn's Creek State Park is a completely separate entity from the state park staff.
That's fair.
So if there is any animosity about access to the park, that is not fostered by the Friends of Dunn's Creek. Their goal in their bylaws, which I am a member, full disclosure, is access and promoting access to that state park. As you and I, Madam Chair, have discussed on multiple issues, we want it open. We want people to be able to camp and utilize that park. So they would be considered allies in that fight to move the state forward to put their money where their mouth is with that 2018 management plan that has been kind of cast to the side. So again, that was the second point of this conversation, that hopefully this will bring attention to the natural resource that we have that is, again, completely underutilized and could provide recreational activities to our community and get them out into the environment. So just want to make everybody aware that that is a completely separate group,
No, I
and they are
appreciate
fighting
that point
for
of
those.
clarity. I get passionate sometimes, and
No, we all do, because it's very frustrating. And as a new commissioner still, and a year and a half into this, the speed of government is very frustrating to me. And to realize that we've had a plan in place that was approved by the state for almost 10 years now, and very, very little has been done. I hope that this brings awareness to my other commissioners and our staff and the public. Thank you.
Yvette Reyes, spay and neuter trailer. Miss Jenny, are you going to be talking about this too? I don't know. Come on up.
Barrett Reyes, P.O. Box 253, Boswick. So I know that you guys were asked about the trailer and taking the trailer under the county realm. Me personally, I don't agree it should be with the county. My reason is you will be expected to provide free spay-neuter for everyone's animals. I don't agree my tax money should go to any of that. Because we all choose to have animals, we need to be responsible for our animals. I got my 4 dogs, my 20 cats spayed, neutered on my dime. My 20 cats came from animal control. I didn't ask animal control for help. Ginny was providing vouchers at the time. I spent $700 at ARC. Thank God it was through a voucher.
It was a deal, right?
Yeah, it was a big deal. $700 to get cats spayed or neutered and vaccinated out of my money, which came from animal control. They were bottle babies. Animal control didn't have the staff at the time. That was 3 years ago. They didn't have anybody to do their bottle baby feeding. I took them in. I took them home, and after I spent all those hours bottle feeding these babies, I converted a shed into a cat condo. They have a carport on the back and a outside catio on the front. So they live large, yes. My 4 dogs, they were also from animal control and from SAFE. I paid for that. They had vouchers. Again, animal control didn't have a voucher, but SAFE provided the vouchers, so I was able to get them all spayed and neuter. The county should not be responsible for that. I don't care if it's a pet or a feral. If you choose to feed that feral, that is your pet, and you should be responsible for it. The next thing, I'm a donor to that trailer. I own part of that trailer. It's a measly $3,000. Let's make it public. But $3,000 can feed a lot of my animals. So with respect to it going to another organization or coming to the board, it should be a collaborative decision. Many municipalities and cities and individual donors gave money to that trailer. That $100,000 didn't come from one person, and it didn't come from 2 people. It came from a collaboration, and we all deserve a seat at that table to make that decision. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to clarify, because some people are probably wondering why this, go ahead, you can have a seat. Why this is probably coming up. So I wanted, Miss Jenny, at the last board meeting, came and told us that they had served the community through the ARC mobile unit, and that she was not going to be able to do that anymore, that they had to make a difficult decision. And first, I want to go on a record and thank ARC and Miss Jenny for the support and what you've done for the year. I think it was a year and a half of, and the hundreds of spay and neuters that y'all were able to do with that trailer. So I want to say thank you publicly. And then second, she requested a meeting, and Julianne and I did sit down with her on July 2nd, and another member of her board, and she shared with us that basically that, you know, we discussed what would be the options of the trailer, like what would be the options. And I believe at that time we were asking, because one of the biggest things for the trailer is, for me, is what are the costs? What kind of cost would incur with this trailer if the county were to take it on? So that's a big subject that will have to come in front of this board at some point. I'm not so sure that it's coming in front of the board today, but I think that is the reason why you were speaking about that, Ms. Reyes, is because I think we're still waiting on information. Ms. Young?
Following that, or in that meeting with Ms. Oakwood, we did request information on cost, what it was costing her to operate, as well as an inventory of what would be considered included with the trailer versus she expressed that there would be some inventory or equipment that would need to be purchased that she believes ARC purchased. So to date, we have not received any of that information for me to give you any sort of cost estimate on what it was costing her or what it would cost the county on operations.
Right, and we don't have an action item that's been publicized to put on there on the agenda right now, but there is a question as to what happens to the trailer. I think Commissioner Alexander, you were going to say something earlier.
Thank you for recognizing me, Madam Chair. My concern is, where is the trailer? And a lot of the surgical equipment and the equipment that is in there is rubber-based. What are we doing to mitigate the humidity and corrosion? Is it plugged up? Is the air conditioning running, or is all of that equipment just degrading in a field somewhere? Please come up, Ms. Jenny, if you would like to answer.
Ms. Jenny, thanks for being here today.
Oh, no problem. First of all, I want to clarify that our goal is to keep the spay and neuter mobile in the county.
Okay.
There are some things on Facebook about SAFE, but SAFE, remember, is still in Putnam County. They are in St. John's and in Putnam County. When I presented this to the board the 23rd of June, then Ms. Young and Commissioner Wilkinson approached me and to make a meeting. Unfortunately, 2 meetings were canceled due to conflict of schedule. We just met July 16th. I will be forwarding all the information that Ms. Young and Commissioner Wilkinson had requested, and it will be CC to all of you so you can look at that. The trailer is at Crescent City Kennel. We put her on with a generator. I am getting an electrician to hook her up permanently. All the equipment is safe, secured. The trailer is also insured fully, and that is part of our requirement. We were unable to continue doing spay and neuter due to veterinarians. Veterinarians right now have a choice. It's called release of care. They can choose wherever they want. Unfortunately, our medical director got a full-time position because she was offered health insurance, 401c, etc. I cannot compete with that. And those veterinarians out there have to be high volume, high quality veterinarians for spay and neuter programs to succeed.
Yeah.
And I assure you, with all the information I could provide you, I know that Putnam County is able to do this with the cooperation of a veterinarian, getting a recruitment of a veterinarian and providing them with employment benefits is going to be the key carrot, like Mr. Harvey says, in my opinion. And right now, I know you have a veterinarian, plus you have a partnership with University of Florida, a Florida veterinarian, and things can progress. So all this information will be in your email by the end of the week. Unfortunately, I dislocated my thumb and I'm limited on typing. But you will have all this information CC to Ms. Young and all of the commissioner by the end of the week.
And I apologize if I got the date wrong. Thank you
It's
for
all right.
clarifying that. That was not purposeful.
Yep.
I understand.
And thank you for clarifying that the
You're
trailer's
very
being
welcome.
taken care of.
Thank you. All right, is there any other public comment? Okay. Is there anybody wishing that hasn't spoke already? All right, going into commissioner committee updates. Do we have any commissioner committee updates, beginning with Commissioner Alexander? Commissioner Newbold?
None.
Commissioner Harvey?
I have none.
Commissioner Pelletier?
I serve along with Commissioner Harvey on the Putnam County Development Authority Board.
Uh-huh.
And we're looking at all our properties that the county owns and
The Development Authority owns? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry,
It's
Development
okay.
Authority, same but not the same. And liquidating, there are 3 that we're working on liquidating possibly, and increasing the lease of 1 that is will be a benefit to the county. But I do like serving on that board, and I think we do good work there, and trying to make a few dollars for that board.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. I don't have any updates as well. Appointments going to Commissioner Alexander? None today. Commissioner Newbold?
The list shows an opening on the Animal Services Board, but that is in the process of being filled, so that should help complement that, that working group. And nothing else.
Commissioner Harvey?
I have none. And my gentleman that we wanted ran out the door. so-
Right.
But we will hunt him down. I promise.
Commissioner Pelletier?
Yes, on the Fishing Fund Advisory Board, I have an opening there. I want to appoint Chuck Blocker, Charles Blocker, Chuck, if you know him well. Chuck to his friends. I have contact info for you, Ms. Brody.
All right. Anything else?
No, ma'am. Not for
Okay.
me.
All right. Am I correct? Is this correct that there's an at-large appointment for Animal Services? All right. I'd like to,
Fit into a category.
okay, what's the categories? That's what's left?
That's at large.
It has to be a veterinarian. What the heck is an animal behaviorist?
We need to clean that committee.
This thing needs to be re-looked at. No, I haven't seen a dog whisperer in Putnam County.
A dog whisperer.
All right, so I'm sorry. We're going to take that, let's take that ordinance and look at that, because that, whatever that is that an ordinance? All right, we need to look into this, because this is, you're never going to find those people.
We have had in the past serving members, both behavioralists and veterinarians.
How about just an animal advocate?
Well, in theory, that's what all 5 of your district appointees are. Now, the board can decide to change it at will, but yes, we have had all of those categories in the past.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'd like us to take a look into that.
Yeah.
Into that. Okay. Well, moving on. Anything else? Clerk of Court, you're recognized for public comment.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Commissioners. Just a couple of things. Speaking of the citations, our office standing by, ready and willing to process those once we've got the pipeline kind of built out with, all the partners that will be included in it, specifically, the judicial partners. I think that's kind of where the issue lied last time, but we're looking forward to that, Commissioner Newbold, and we stand by, ready and willing to assist in that endeavor. Also like to take just a second to, again, thank this board and thank our legislative delegation, Representative Sapp and Senator Leek, for their work, and specifically Commissioner Alexander as well, on securing the ERP appropriation. That's going to be a big deal, big project for the county. Going to create a lot of efficiency. So again, just wanted to thank y'all for your support in that endeavor. Looking forward to working with county staff on that, getting the RFP ready to go. So I know that we're getting things in line for that. And also we're getting closer, I think, on plans for our old customer service building, the building that we moved customer service out of. That's the one that has the war murals on the western side of the building. Once we've gotten more information back from our judicial partners that are located in that building, I think we have a tentative plan, but I want all of us to hopefully agree on that, and hoping that it's a win-win for all of the parties involved. And once we've gotten word back from our judicial partners, I will come back to the board and let you know what that plan looks
Did
like.
we already put that in our budget? I can't remember.
That is in my budget request letter. I mentioned that we will be looking at using the $354,000 that the board is holding in reserve for clerk. And I think that the project will be close to that. If there's anything above that amount that we'll need, I'm hoping that we'll be able to use kind of our surplus money within the fiscal year to wrap that up, so that we won't need any additional funding.
So Commissioner Wilkinson, just to alleviate maybe the concern that's coming in your mind, the dollars he's talking about were set aside about 2 or maybe even 3 years ago for this project. So this is not a new budget line or new budget request. It's sitting there. In fact, it was on your budget report this morning, and I've already given Logan the expense code as where it is. Now, we'll move it out of reserves into somewhere, but this is not a new request. This is something that the clerk's office foresee coming many years ago, and,
Yes.
and the board and the clerk and us worked together to put the money aside for this project.
Yes, thank you, Julianne. And it was this money we had originally set aside, and we were going to potentially use it for the new customer service building, the one that we just did the ribbon cutting on. But we were able to get that project done with surplus dollars through the fiscal year, so we didn't need to use it.
Good job. All right.
And that's all I have.
All right. County attorney is out this week. He explained that at his last board meeting. Administrator Suggs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kudos to the hardest working commissioner we have at the desk, because he obviously never sleeps. That will be Commissioner Harvey, who at 4:30 a.m. this morning sent this email regarding the moratorium. And yes, the first reading will be at your second meeting in August. So Commissioner Harvey, I apologize for not reading the email at 4:30 this morning, sir. So, but no. So we'll move forward with that with the first reading and at the second meeting in August. So thank you, sir. Also, while Commissioner Annie Davis is here, had a brief conversation with Ms. Davis, Commissioner Davis this morning. We are scheduled, I believe, for the August 27th City Commission meeting for the joint project for the water sewer project. I will reach out to City Manager Ms. Cynthia Curry to make sure we have everything that we need turned in so that we can be on the agenda for August 27th with the city. 27th.
27th, and it is regarding the grant and water expansion on 309C and out to 309C, and I believe, is Mr. Suggs, will you be presenting that, or will it be Mr. Grimes, or it's a team effort?
It'll probably be a team effort, but Mr. Grimes will probably lead with the infrastructure conversation, but we'll all be available.
What do you need from this board? I mean, obviously, you know how we feel and we want to see that go forward. Do you want us there in support? Do you want us to, what do you want us to do?
That is certainly up to the board. Honestly, it should be a straightforward presentation from staff to the City Commission to explain the project and the value of the project. But I would certainly, you know, if you, Madam Chair, would like to be there, if any of the other board members like to be there, I certainly would not hesitate to say the support would be great. But I do believe it should be a straightforward presentation.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Anything else? Mr. Suggs, anything else?
I'm sorry.
Anything
That's
else? Okay. All right, Commissioner comments, starting with Commissioner Alexander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we had a good meeting today. It was very productive. I think we learned a few things, myself included. Let's see. Mr. Reynolds, when we were talking about the update on the old customer service center, you and I had spoken briefly about creating potential space for the guardian ad litem program. Is that still being considered?
Yes, sir. That's, well, I have not spoken with them yet. I'm speaking with our other judicial partner that has space in that building to make sure that they are okay with making some moves and making some additional changes. If that space is okay for them, then I plan to go to guardian ad litem and talk about space that they may be able to utilize, you know, elsewhere that might be better for them. So
that's great, man. Anything we can do to help those folks, I really appreciate it. The only other thing I'd like to talk about is during my campaign, a year and a half, 2 years ago, through the course of it, I got multiple requests regarding a night meeting for those folks that couldn't make it to the 9 a.m. meeting. And, you know, I appreciate what they're saying. I've heard it again. I've had some other requests, and I honestly don't think that it's fair for somebody to have to take vacation time away from their job that could be spent with their family so they can come in here and meet with us. So I would ask my other commissioners to consider at least a quarterly meeting in the evening, once a quarter, so that those folks don't have to take a vacation day or a vacation hour to come in here and tell us what they think about what we're doing or provide solutions or suggestions. So if you would just consider that and give me some feedback down the road.
Okay. Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I wanted to address Ms. Reyes's straight up concern about free spay and neuter in this process. While we need to improve that space, I have no intent to try to push free spay neuter on through this process. As it develops, I hope the fee structure we develop will actually, I would like to try to keep some of that money and dedicate it towards that space, animal services. I don't know if that's possible yet. That may afford us to do some low cost, but you know, accountability is important in this space, and you know, we're not here to raise everybody's animals. So anyway, just wanted to express that. Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you don't mind, Mr. Ritchie, will you come forward
We got something very exciting, okay? So just hang
Okay.
tight.
All right, all right. Wow, something exciting.
I kind of set the stage, fellow commissioners. This came from Mr. Grimes, okay? I've got to give him kudos and our staff. We've heard a lot about illegal dumping in Putnam County, correct? And if you remember back in the hurricane time, we had what we called a dashboard where people could actually put in where their piles of stuff needed to be picked up, and the private contractor went around. So Mr. Ritchie, go take the floor right now. So keep in mind the same illegal dumping, the same dashboard where people can come in here and let us know where this is at.
So this is a multi-step process. It can be done, Mr. Grimes and I spoke about this last week. It can be done on a cell phone, tablet, laptop, computer, accessible anywhere. So you hit next on this particular screen. It uses the county's address data, so we can nothing outside of the county that can be used as far as addresses go. Of course, it auto located us here. You drag and drop an image. You can take an image on a cell phone or whatever from this location. You're also able to, because it is debris in a right of way, you're able to move this point around. Once you find your location, you hit next. It has an arrow. You got to have a picture. Stand by. Let me find a picture. We have one on here.
We have a picture.
We'll use this. And then hit next. Now this is a question that was built into this application. Is the debris posing an immediate risk to life safety? If you hit yes, it gives us, much like we have at Public Works on their side, it gives you the non-emergency number at the sheriff's office to notify the authorities. You can submit here, and what we'll work out internally as a staff is where these emails will be sent and the data that has been collected and to whom it needs to be sent to the appropriate authority from our side. For this case, we'll go ahead and hit no, hit next. You have several different types of debris categories. Certainly, if it doesn't fit in any of these, you can hit other. It offers you a box to type that in. We'll say tires for this particular. Have a
fantastic example.
There you go. A description of what they see and what your picture says as well. And then, of course, it says any additional information. Is there any additional information you would like to add that would assist in the response or cleanup? If you hit yes, you can add additional information. Hit no, and you hit next. And this is all completely optional. Nothing's required as far as information of who and a way to contact them. It can be completely anonymous. And you hit submit. And once that's done, it uploads the picture. And I just got an email because I'm the one who's going to be receiving these for the moment until it goes live. And it goes back to your, once it's uploaded, it'll go to what it needs to go to.
And I have spoken to Marshall Fulgham with Keep Putnam Beautiful, who's excited about this process that we can, in my area, we do community cleanups a lot. But this is some way that we could have a roadmap to go out there and go, on this Saturday, we're going to go here, here, and here to pick up these piles. And if they are in danger of the community, then we can take a different action for that. But work with the Sheriff's Department and their environmental officer. I think this is going to be a huge step in cleaning up Putnam County. This is at infancy right now. We'll come back with more information, but I just wanted to kind of share that with you. And kudos to Mr. Grimes and Mr. Ritchie and our staff for allowing this to take place, because we're here. People think we don't hear them, but we do hear them. We just got to know how to manage the process when we get there. And this is a great management tool that we can use. So, yes,
I'm really excited about this. You're right. It was very exciting. When we had this for the hurricane, I used it hourly. Like, I would ride around the neighborhood and I was putting in piles, or people would call me and say, it's been 2 weeks. And I said, hold on, let me see if you're on the list. And so it was very instrumental, and it allowed, whenever they were picking up that yard debris, that they knew if they were hitting Wilkinson Road, they had at least 6 piles to pick up or whatever. So I commend this. I am very excited about it. I am really hopeful that it will stop some of the illegal dumping, because I feel like that if the sheriff's office knows that there's a continuous problem in one area, then they can monitor that area, and that they can then hopefully get the person or people that are continuing to do that. And it blows my mind, the amount of people that are okay with rolling down their window and throwing out their McDonald's bag. Blows my mind that they would do that, but I can't control that, obviously. Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
And I may have missed this. Is this going to integrate for the yard debris pickup, or is this a separate, just trash?
The intent was, because it is super inefficient for us to run out and pick up one pile, right? So if I got to send a truck clear to Interlochen, so somebody complains about one pile, if we can have a way to see it as dots on a map, so when the pile gets picked up, our employees will be able to push it on their cell phone. We can change the pin from red to green. It's been removed. So then we can actually see it. So then we can say, okay, today's the day we need to go pick up 2 boats or whatever that's in the so when I was talking with Mr. Paprosky the other day, you know, he's like, I can take and show you 6 boats right now that are just dumped. Well, if we don't take action to get those boats removed, it's kind of hard. So now that we can have an ability to take a picture of it, send it, and then I can see it, we'll make it public facing. You'll be able to see it, right? But it also helps investigators, right? So if somebody comes out and has one pile, it's really hard to do. But if we got a hot spot on a map, so I mean, like, we use the same stuff in fire rescue, seeing overdose data. You can see cardiacs, you can see all kinds of things on a different platform. So we just move this into a different area so that we can see a hot spot. Is there something we can change inside that area to become proactive to maybe catch somebody dumping or something? So I thought that was just a real quick idea. Ms. Brooke invented it during the hurricanes. I just found another application for it that I thought would just really help. And the citizens, it's easier than having to call in and do a work order with the folks at Public Works. It just makes it a lot easier when you can just drive by with a cell phone and turn it right in. So just a quick thought and pass it along.
Well, thank you for that, for recognizing that synergy there. But after this, the kinks get worked out of it and it's moving smoothly, it would be fantastic if we could somehow integrate getting that data to Waste Pro. So maybe use the same type idea that they could look at input from us, from our side, to say, oh, we've missed these yard debris piles. It would, I think that's the biggest call I get is yard debris piles. So anyway, if we could double duty that sometime in the future, it'd be cool. Maybe we can.
Commissioner Pelletier?
Tip of the hat to all involved who's bringing this to the forefront. And just for clarity, any citizen with a cell phone can type this in from any time and log it and get it reported. During hurricane season, let's not have one. I see where this would be really helpful. For all the residents, they do it themselves, punch it right in. Hey, big tree fell over in the road here or there or wherever. So I see a lot of good this can do.
And currently what I forgot to mention was basically we're asking our bus drivers, we're asking our contractors who do the roads, we're asking those people to kind of turn those in if they see them. This will be something the citizens can actually, if they don't want to get involved, they don't have to put their name.
Right.
We'll know where they're at. And that in the last hurricane, that debris dashboard was a lifesaver for Putnam County, because when people called up and said, hey, we didn't know on their road, and we were able to put that information in and get
It's like an Easter egg hunt's what they said.
Exactly.
So now we don't have the Easter egg hunt as
Right.
bad.
Exactly. So thank you. We're at
Treasure map.
just bringing that to your attention. We'll have more. And that's the end of my comments, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Pelletier, you're recognized for your comments.
Mr. Grimes, any kind of update on VA or IT, the design of that?
Matter of fact, yes, we actually met with Mr. Kumar last week. He said he was in the final stages. We had actually met with Mr. Ritchie and Alan from VA, and they gave their inputs, some minor changes, modifications. I think I could probably have Joe, if y'all like, he can bring probably a rendition to y'all probably at the next meeting.
That'd be great.
He's almost to the point, he told me the other day, he's almost ready for bid-ready documents, which would be the process moving it to the street for bids so we can go under construction. So we're getting a lot closer than we ever were.
Good news.
He said he was just waiting on some minor things, digging some minor changes. He said he does need to get up on our roof because we're probably going to replace the mechanical equipment, the HVAC equipment over top of it. So we just need to get there and make sure he can find some light con for units, so we didn't have to do a lot of adapter changes and up on the roof. But he was going to, supposed to get there, I think, this week and take a peek and see, so we can write those final steps.
Outstanding news. Glad to hear it. That's moving forward. I'd like to see that. Talking about our discretionary money, I just recently purchased a mobile speed radar trailer. I guess, am I saying that right, Mr. Blunt? Wake up, Mr. Blunt.
Don't say that. He's busy being the administrator.
I was making comment about the radar speed trailer, whatever. What all does that thing do? Can you give us a brief scenario of that, please? Doesn't it record some stuff or something? We've already got one, I think, that Commissioner Alexander purchased, and I've got you another one, so hopefully hit some of these speed areas that we're having problems with, and as I say, getting somebody's hip, make it real for them.
I'm in trouble. Anything else?
I'm good. That's it. Thank you.
People who drive with me know what I'm talking about.
I don't ride with it, I drive.
So a couple of things I want to ask or talk about. Before I get into that, let me just say this is Ashley Beard's last meeting with us as clerk. Is that correct? And so as our board clerk, and she has served us how many years have you been here, Ashley? 5. And we always enjoy her smiling face and her efficiency in her job, and we just want to say thank you for the 5 years you've been here. Pardon me? Yeah, we can do that before we leave. So I want to ask about, and Mr. Grimes, I don't know if you can answer this or if this is a sheriff's office question. Derelict vessels on the water. It seems to be the hot topic up right now. How is that handled? How do we deal with, is there something that the county can do do we reach out to FWC?
Derelict vessel program has changed over the years. There was a time where it was initiated by the county. It is currently an FWC process from start to finish.
Okay.
So it has to be reported to FWC, not to any local agency, and then they take it through the process.
So FWC handles the complete thing, and then I guess if they're out of funding, then they have nothing they can't pick them up. So that's another issue that apparently is going on.
Also true. So FWC, many years ago, the process was the county would initiate and identify a derelict vessel existed. FWC would validate it through the legal process. FWC would grant and authorize the county to engage a contractor for removal and disposal. That law changed a few years ago, and now it's completely handled by FWC, and when there are no funds through that state agency, then the vessels remain, and we have no authority to do anything with them.
So if a citizen is seeing something that's been abandoned on the water, the only advice we can give them is call FWC.
Please report it to FWC. Obviously, they do pose potential hazards for our boaters and our waterways, but we have no local authority to do anything with them. Neither does the sheriff's office.
And we do not want to assume that responsibility, because it is very, very expensive to remove those vessels.
And I'm not saying that we do. What I'm saying is let's educate ourselves and our constituents about that, because they tend to, everybody says, well, what's the county going to do? What's the city going to do?
And I probably should have shared that with you.
Yeah, so it's
Mr. Minor might have something. Do you have some experience in this?
Sure, go ahead.
So in the past, what they've done a lot of times is FWC gets a red sticker on it, and then they can send it out for bids. But also, Putnam County can send it out for bids, okay? And what they do is they turn around and the lowest bidder, gets it. But then what you do is you bill the person the boat's named in. They can choose to do that and go ahead and pay that. And so that way it doesn't come out of the county's wallet, it comes out of their wallet. If they don't pay it, and I know this for a fact because I've done this before, they can charge them with a felony, and now they've got a little bit more bite
Well, I understand what you're saying, but it sounds like that used to be the process, and now the county's portion and responsibility and role is completely out of it, and it's only FWC's. So we're not involved in it at all. That was the point that Julianne was making.
Right, I
Because
know.
of a couple years ago, that completely changed. So thank you. All right. So thank you for on that. Next, I want to commend Commissioner Harvey for his role in the broadband initiative. You served, can you tell me on was it called the BEAD?
Well, the Access 67 with the Florida
Access
State.
67,
I
yeah.
dressed up as Flash.
No, Lord.
Okay, and I ran through the audience promoting broadband in the state of Florida. So yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you were on that state Access.
I was. Yes, ma'am.
Access 67 board, and then you served on the Florida Association of Counties
Correct.
Broadband Board. And I know I worked for Bobby Payne's office, and then I became county commissioner, and it was something that we continued to push. And we would see federal dollars coming down, and then we're like, well, where's Putnam? Where's Putnam? What's Putnam going? Where are we going to get it in Putnam? And now we are actually seeing the fruits of our labor. And it wasn't us, it was collectively a whole group of people, starting at the federal government level. And James Ritchie was our local gentleman here who led our broadband meetings. Wayne McLean represented the Chamber of Commerce, so we want to thank him. But we're starting to see broadband. The governor of Florida actually did a press release toward the end of June. And on that press release, it showed the amount of funding across the state and which counties got what and what areas they were being served, That's available on the governor's website. But we are excited to see that broadband's coming to Putnam County. And I watched the comments when I put a small announcement just about my district, and people were like, well, why are we even having this discussion now? Because now everybody's got Starlink. Well, I had people in my district immediately respond and say, because I can't afford $100 a month. I can't afford $150 a month. Right. And by the way, my grandma, Mr. Ritchie, you've got family that lives all the way out at the end of Barden Road, out in the boonies, as we call them. But you just can't get service out there. And so having fiber in the ground, or in this case, I think it's on the poles in my area, is a big deal for our community. When we were going through COVID, we saw that students were having to go to McDonald's and other areas just to get access to the internet to do their schoolwork from home. I had a niece that would have to come to my house because we had a hotspot, and we would go to work and she would have to sit at our kitchen table because she didn't have access to where she was at to any kind of internet service. So it is something that's going to be a big deal in Putnam County. And when I was selling real estate on a full-time basis, I would have people in my car who would looking on the river out in Bostwick for big homes, and they would love the house, fall in love with it, fall in love with the location, and then they would say, well, can I get internet? This was a little bit before Starlink was such a big deal too. I'd say, you might need to call on that one. And they wouldn't buy the house because there were people that were working from home, and they can't work from home if they don't have good internet service. So this is for a small rural county. I know it's across the state, but I'm excited to see that this infrastructure is being put in place. I don't have the exact mapping or know where it is. Do you have any?
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, there is a Zoom call this coming week with one of the local providers who is almost built out in their area for Putnam County.
Okay.
They're going to be announcing some type of a community presentation.
That would be great.
With the chamber, and Mr. McLean has been invited to join that conversation. And I've made a call to another provider who wants to do the same thing. So you'll see in the next couple months big announcements throughout Putnam County of where they're building, what they're doing, promoting their product, and informing the community. Mm-hmm. So, but it's been a long time. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of like, okay, the money's here, now we want it now.
Right.
But we're now finally seeing cable being buried in the ground throughout Putnam County. And it's exciting because you're right. People work from home, they telemedicine from home. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't do anything hardly without your computer. So this is a big step for Putnam County.
Yep. So thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for your leadership on that. And lastly, but certainly not least, my Christmas tree project.
I love
My
that.
community Christmas tree project. I say it mine, it's not mine, it's ours. Is coming together, and we are at the stage that we are seeking community support in the way of sponsorships, and so we have to raise $30,000+, and but it's going to be so exciting. We're going to have a 30-foot Christmas tree with a 5-foot star on the courthouse lawn, which where on the courthouse lawn will be determined. That's still part of the project. But I really see it as a center point in downtown Palatka where people come for whatever reason they want to come, and we light it up right after, at the same night of the Christmas parade,
Yeah.
where we have 20,000 people down there, or however many Sam says we have down there. And then we start the parade, and it stays lit all the way through until after New Year's. And what's exciting about that is I really think it could bring a lot of community events and bring people downtown. We can light up from all the way through downtown area. And now we have a bridge to match. And hopefully the courthouse has made some improvements on their lighting and what we can do there. And so I'm just so excited about that. So more news to come. And but it is out on social media now about the community Christmas tree, and we are looking for sponsors because it's not a tax-funded project. It is a community-funded project. With that, is there anything else to come in front of the board? I'm going to recess this meeting, and we have a 5:05. Yes.
I did, just because I know it was a thing y'all signed us to the other day, the PO's been issued to do the gazebo.
Oh, yes,
So
thank
the
you.
new roof, the painting, all that stuff should be underway in the next few weeks. So
Good deal.
the PO has been issued to the contractor, so that's one other project moving forward.
Good. That'll be nice to have that. Okay. All right, with that, we will recess this meeting and reconvene at 5:05 for our setting the max millage and tentative and final budget hearing.